Finally, let's look at the Jets and New England. The Pats are favored by 9 or 9.5. That's a big line, but the Jets are in a tough spot here. The Indy game was a big one for Rex Ryan. It was sort of payback time for him against Peyton Manning, and the Jets pulled it off. Brady and the Pats are a different story, and I think one thing that you have to take from the Jets game is that Mark Sanchez's shoulder still does appear to be bothering him. And beyond that, he's also struggled against the blitz this year, so it looks like something that Bill Belichick will probably try to expose and take advantage of and probably do it successfully. So it's a tough line. The Pats obviously have a major edge here, but the line reflects it. And if the Jets are smart, they'll probably try to rely heavily on the run to shorten the game, limit Sanchez's exposure. So that could keep the game in single digits, even if the Jets never really have a chance. So this is another line. Seems like a stay away from me, but let's see what you guys think about it. Scott Kellen from SixCentSports.com. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I've got a couple situations here, Peter, on New England. One, if they're favored by 10 or less, that's 17-3-0, and again, that same 48-20-0 situation I talked about earlier, if they're favored by less than 10. I make the number 7.5 in this game, though, so I think the number's a little rich for New England.
Right.
But I also make the total. I look at I have three different ways to evaluate the scores, and I make the total anywhere from 49 to 52 points. So, again, haven't looked at the weather coming up here, but if the weather is favorable, I think this game has a chance to go over the total as well. I mean, we all know New England's going to score points. The one thing that could derail this, I suppose, is if the Jets run the ball and control the clock for 40 minutes,
right.
Possibly they could keep the scoring down. But other than New England's 23-20 win over Baltimore this year, they've scored at least 28 points in every home game this year. So they are going to score points in this game, and I think the Jets can score too. They've got quality receivers. I think New England's defense is average. Obviously, they blew them out 45-3 in the last time these two teams played. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a blowout here. I don't think I would want to play the New England side just because if the Jets somehow can control the clock a little bit, they could stay in this game. And I think they can get a score early. They can get a score late. And I think New England gets 27 to 30 points. And if they do that, I think the Jets have an excellent chance to do their share of the scoring to put this game over the total. Again, as long as the weather, we don't see high winds or something like that.
Right.
I think this game's got a chance to go over the total.
And you're not worried at all about that Mark Sanchez might be limited?
No, not really, because I think if they can get their running game going again, and you look back to the game that Green Bay went to New England, it was just one game, but Green Bay was able to run the ball in this team. They were able to throw the ball a little bit on them, and potentially that's a blueprint for other teams to go in there and try to do something. And if Matt Flynn can go in there, and however good you want to say Matt Flynn is, even a banged-up Mark Sanchez, I think, has the potential to do what Matt Flynn did, and they certainly have a better running game than the Packers have. So if they can run the ball a little bit, that's going to create some play action. They've got big-time receivers and a good tight end where they can get some points through the passing game and running game as well. And they, quite frankly, as much as New England scores, they only need to put up about 17 points to give this game a chance to go over the total, in my opinion.
All right. Zach, what do you think about this line?
Well, I'll tell you, Bill Belichick traded Randy Moss to be able to beat the Jets. I mean, and that's simply what they decided to do, that you could turn Revis Island into a tackler, and he's a lot less effective as a tackler than he is as Revis Island, just as Reggie Wayne. This is a completely different matchup than what Indianapolis had to face, with the Jets last week, where, if you take away one of their receivers, it's a big problem. With New England, everything underneath, it's really going to create a matchup problem. I don't see it to being a 45-3 game as we saw on Monday Night Football, but, we do like New England in this game. We had the side and the total correct in the Monday Night Football game, but I am going to say that AccuScore has a very strong play on the over in this game. And I'll just throw out some numbers for you right now. This season we were 12-4 in totals with New England. We are 13-4 in totals with the Jets. We simulate the game to have 47 points. The number is 45. In games where we differed by Vegas by 2 or 2.5 points on the total number, we are at 56%. In games where the total number was 45% or higher, we correctly picked over or under 66% of the time. And in games when the home team was favored by 7 or more points, we were 60% and correctly picking the total number to go over or under. So every indication here is strong indication that you want to go with the over here, and that's going to be our play here to our clients.
Wow. Okay, so we got Scott and AccuScore both saying they like the over, and then I saw John Ryan nodding. So you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I like the over quite a bit. It makes me nervous when maybe we should keep track of when we all agree what our record is. It's probably pretty darn good.
No, these roundtables have been great all year long. I plan on doing that. I plan on going back and figuring out what the actual record is, but I know you guys have been great.
And I just don't see the Jets defense being able to stop the Patriots offense based on the matchups. And for the life of me, I don't know why Rex Ryan is trying to get in an argument with New England. New England and Belichick have proven that they are a very focused squad. They're one of the greatest teams of the last 10 years, if not longer. And that just serves as more motivation to run up the score. I think New England will get out to a big lead, and then they'll just keep pouring it on. So I like New England a little bit as well. The over is supported by a system spanning 28 years. It's gone 35-11. And you're going to simply play over with any team with a total between 42.5 and 49 points after a win by 3 or less points, facing an opponent after 2 straight wins by 10 or more points. So obviously the win of 3 or less points is the Jets. And obviously New England won their last 2 games by more than 10 points. This system is kind of unique that 50% of all games have gone over by 7 or more points. So I like the over quite a bit. And keep in mind, too, Sanchez is listed as, injured and dinged up. The Jets have won with their rushing game. They're ranked 4th in the NFL rushing the ball, and that sets up the play-action pass for Sanchez. So even if he is dinged up a little bit, he's not going to be asked to be doing heroic things with the ball.